Today I am going to give y'all the official driver entry list for this year's Daytona 500. This video right here might be a little long, so kick back and relax and enjoy, but let's get started.
Ryan Priest, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Driving the one car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Ross Chastain representing Trackhouse Racing. Driving the two car in this year's 500 will be someone besides Brad Keselowski, because Keselowski has been in the car since the 2012 season, and this past off season he decided to move on elsewhere, and they looked to replace him, and they eventually came up with Austin Cindric. Cindric is coming up from the Xfinity Series. He won the Xfinity Championship back in 2020, and last year he lost the championship on the final lap. Right at the final corner, he lost by a couple of inches. A tough pill to swallow, but he's got a cup ride, so all is going well. Driving the three car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon has won this race in the past, back in 2018. His chances of winning again are very high, and he's got to be one of the favorites. Driving the number 4 car in this year's 500 will be Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is coming off a terrible 2021 season, collecting 0 wins and, quite frankly, barely making the playoffs. Like, really, that's a disappointment, and he's looking to turn things around in the 2022 season with the next-gen car. Driving the number 5 car will be Kyle Larson, your Cup Series defending champ. He's won many races in the past in the Cup Series, and the only thing he's missing on his resume is a Daytona 500 trophy. And this year might be the year, so don't count him out at all. Driving the number 6 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Brad Keselowski. Like I stated a couple moments earlier, he left Penske in this past offseason, and he decided to go to Roush Fenway at the time, and they offered him a driver spot and a part ownership spot, so they named the team after him too. Interesting deal there. Driving the number 7 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Corey Lejoy representing Spire Motorsports. Driving the number 8 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, 2 weeks ago in the LA Clash at the Coliseum, he was very competitive. He led the first so many laps, and then when the caution came out for a spin, he had mechanical issues, and heartbreaker there. I thought he had a chance to win it all. He was very competitive, and I know that lit a fire under him, so when he's going to Daytona this week, he's going to be mighty aggressive, and you can never count him out. And he will get his first career win in the 2022 season, mark my word. Driving the number 9 car this year will be Chase Elliott. Similar to Kyle Larson, he's won many races in the past, got a championship under his belt, but he is still missing the Daytona 500 trophy. But this year can maybe be the year. Driving the number 10 car in this year's 500 will be Aric Almirola, as this will be his final Daytona 500 because he's announced his retirement at the conclusion of the 2022 season. Driving the number 11 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be NASCAR Cup Series owner and driver Denny Hammond. Denny Hammond is coming off a very up and down 2021 season, collecting many wins, but all the wins pretty much came inside the playoffs. But before then, he struggled to reach victory lane, heartbreaker moments here and there, but the biggest one of them all had to have been either Richmond in the spring or Martinsville in the fall. Had a chance to win it, but he got dumped by a non-playoff driver, Alex Bowman. We saw how things went there. He's using the 2021 season as a little bit of motivation, I would expect, and he's going to be coming out the gate here fighting. He's going to win a couple of races, so don't count him out in this race. So Denny Hammond in the 11 car. Driving the number 12 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Ryan Blaney representing Team Penske. Driving the number 14 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Chase Briscoe from Mitchell, Indiana, representing Stewart-Haas Racing. Driving the number 15 car from Unadilla, Georgia, you got David Reagan. David Reagan retired many years ago, but since then he has raced a handful of races, and all of them being the Daytona 500. Last year he drove the 36 car, and this year Rick Ware decided to give him a call and offer him the 15 ride in the 500, which he accepted. And he is a dark horse in this race. He is guaranteed. It's a chartered car he's racing in, so he's in the show. Let's see what he can do. Driving the number 16 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Daniel Hamrick, your defending Xfinity Series champion. Won one race last year, and it was the finale at Phoenix, which he won at the start and finish line by a couple of inches. Driving the number 17 car will be Chris Buescher from Prosper, Texas. He's going to have a great year this year. I'm expecting it. Last year, he showed some good signs and improvements. One race to think about was Kansas. He could have possibly won there. Maybe if they would have threw the caution instead of waiting it out until the pit cycle ended, he would have probably found himself finishing inside the top 5, maybe even winning the race, which would have made a big difference in the playoff bracket last year. But driving the number 18 car will be Kyle Busch, and this could possibly be it for Kyle Busch in the 18 car in 2022. Because Mars, the company, is leaving the 18 ride, and Mars is the owner of like Skittles, M&Ms, and so on. So if Kyle Busch loses that, what is he going to rely on? Is he going to rely on his energy drink, or is he going to go somewhere elsewhere and start his own cup team? Or go to 2311 Racing and open up a ride for Ty Gibbs? But that's a lot of speculation going on there, so do not go along with what I say, because it might not be right. But Kyle Busch will be driving the 18 car. Driving the number 19 car will be Martin Truex Jr. I think this might be it for him, but hopefully not. But he will drive the 19 car in the 2022 Daytona 500. Driving the number 20 car will be Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell in last year's Daytona 500 was super aggressive, caused an early wreck, and also got involved in a late wreck with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. But you would never count him out. Aggressive drivers pretty much win this race. Look at Denny Hammond in the past. He's always aggressive. And Christopher Bell has that same mindset, so you can never count him out. And driving the 21 car this year will no longer be Matt DiBenedetto. This year it will be Harrison Burton. Driving the number 22 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be your 2015 Daytona 500 winner, Joey Logano. Joey Logano is coming off a very disappointing 2021 season, only collecting one win. And where did that one win come from? It was the Bristol Dirt Race. Out of all races on the schedule, the Bristol Dirt Race. Very surprising, but also very surprising he didn't win at all on the intermediates, where he's really good at. This year, it started off with a bang. He won at the LA Clash, so he has some momentum on his side entering the Daytona 500, so you can never count him out. And similar to Christopher Bell, like I compared him to Denny Hammond, Logano is a very aggressive driver. He is not afraid of wrecking someone for the win. He nearly won the race last year. He was a half a lap away, but his teammate wrecked him. But Logano in the 22 car. Driving the 23 car will be Bubba Wallace, representing 2311 Racing. Last year he collected one win, which was at your most recent plate race, Talladega. So he's going to be up on the favorite list, so don't count him out. Driving the 24 car will be William Byron. William Byron in the past in the 500 has struggled to finish the race. And he is not someone I am looking to have in my fantasy lineup if I'm playing fantasy, because he wrecks out and you want someone that will finish a race and get you a solid average. So Byron is not your man, but maybe this year it will change. But driving the 27 car will be F1 champ from 1998, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Villeneuve. He is coming over from pretty much all types of motorsports to NASCAR, driving the 27 car. He's an open car, so he's not guaranteed into the main event, but he will have to race his way in via qualifying or the duels. Driving the number 31 car this year will be Justin Haley, representing Colleague Racing. I really like what Colleague Racing is doing. Chris Rice and Matt Colleague, they're changing the whole sport of NASCAR. They came into the Xfinity Series a couple years back, just a small team, and year in and year out, they got a lot better. But they also marketed themselves a lot better, which results in getting more sponsorship and getting a lot more attention. And next thing you know, they're contending for the championship year in and year out. So they're going to be a force to reckon with in this year's Xfinity Series championship, but also maybe a couple years down the road in the Cup Series. So never count them out. And Justin Haley does have one career win in the Cup Series at Daytona, which was the summer race in 2019, which he won in the 77 car for Byron Motorsports. Driving the number 34 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be your defending 500 champ, Michael Mcdowell. You can never count him out. He won last year's Daytona 500, but he also came very close to winning the Talladega plate race in the spring. Brad Keselowski won it, but still, McDowell had a good run. Driving the number 38 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland is moving from the Truck Series to the Cup, a big leap, but he is coming off of a great season, though. He collected one win at COTA, and a lot of misfortunate things went on throughout the season, which costed him a chance to win a race here and there. So this year, I don't think he's going to win at all at one of them intermediates or short tracks, but he could possibly win one at a plate track. So never count him out or a road course. But Gilliland in the 38 car. Driving the number 41 car will be Cole Custer. This is a make-or-break year for Custer. Last year was a struggle, as it was for all of the SHR cars, but this year he has to do good because they could possibly replace him. Driving the 42 car will be Ty Dillon. I think he's a dark horse here. You can never count him out. He's super aggressive, and he has what it takes to win here. And driving the 43 car will be Erik Jones. Erik Jones has won at Daytona in the past, but he won the summer race back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So, many years ago, but Erik Jones has a win under his belt at Daytona. Driving the number 44 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Greg Biffle. A lot of people might refer him to as the Biff. The Biff is coming off many years' absence in the sport of NASCAR. His last appearance came in the Truck Series many years ago, racing for Kyle Busch Motorsports, but he collected one win. I forgot where it came from. I think it was Texas. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But still, Biffle hasn't been in the NASCAR in a while. And for him to come back for the Daytona 500, that's a very surprising move. But you know what? I think his experience may pay off as he has to race his way in. So I think Biffle makes a main event, but time will tell. Driving the number 45 car will be Kurt Busch. Driving the 47 car will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I like Stenhouse. I think he's one of the favorites, and he's super aggressive, so he might find himself in victory lane Sunday evening in Daytona, Florida. Never count him out. Driving the 48 car will be Alex the Showman Bowman. Bowman collected many wins last year. Dover, I think, was one. Richmond was one. And then Martinsville and Pocono. And this year started off in the LA Clash. He failed to advance to the main event. A big disappointment. But you know what? He's going to Daytona, a track where he usually runs well at. He probably will get the pole. That's my prediction. But Alex Bowman is going to have a great performance here at Daytona. I can feel it happening here Sunday night. Driving the 50 car here at Daytona will be Kaz Gralla, racing for the Money Team, which is owned by boxer Floyd Mayweather. And I think they're going to have a great showing here. But by sponsorship and getting a lot of attention. But I don't think they make the main event. But that's for the end of the video. Driving the 51 car will be Cody Ware. Driving the 55 will be J.J. Yaley. I don't know why I want to say Justin Yaley. They don't go right. But he is racing for MBM Motorsports. Carl Long's team, the 55 car. That is an open ride. Driving the 62 car will be Noah Gragson. Driving the 66 car will be Timmy Hill. And driving the 77 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be Landon Castle for Spire Motorsports. Driving the number 78 car in this year's Daytona 500 will be B.J. McLeod, and rounding out your field will be Daniel Suarez. Right now, there are 42 entries, and there's going to only be 40 cars in the main event, so there will be 2 cars that will go home. And here are the list of the open vehicles in this year's Daytona 500. You got the 27 car of Jack Villeneuve, the 44 car of Greg Biffle, the 50 car of Kaz Grala, the 55 of J.J. Yaley, the 62 of Noah Gragson, and a 66 car of Timmy Hill. We're going to do a process of elimination here. There's going to be 2 rounds here, and I will get into my final 4. Jack Villeneuve, for round 1, I would put an X right beside him. Greg Biffle, I think he will advance in the main event. Kaz Grala, an X by him. J.J. Yaley, an X by him. Noah Gragson, he'll advance, and so will Timmy Hill. So that leaves you with Jack Villeneuve, Kaz Grala, and J.J. Yaley. Jack Villeneuve, I don't think he's going to make it to the main event, so that's an X for him. Kaz Grala, X for him. So that leaves J.J. Yaley with a check as he advances to the main event. But everybody, though, remember to please like and subscribe and comment down below your predictions for this year's Daytona 500. I am curious to know. Peace.